We are going to be going live. Hello, everyone. This is John Stoutinger with JCX Fishing. Tonight's guest we're going to have on is Rick Langenderfer. He's a professional angler that fishes the National Professional Fishing League Tour. We don't have video, but we do have good audio with him. So just want to let you know that ahead of time, so you don't bombard me with questions about that. And he's not afraid to answer questions. So we do have a little video now. All right. I know we had to interview Woo Daves almost a year ago, and he couldn't get any video, but it turned out to be a good video anyway, or a good podcast as well. Hey Tom, well, I'm going to bring Rick in, and he's going to talk a little bit about himself, what he does, and how his first year on the NPFL was. Hello, sir.
What's going on, man? Technology is fun when you push the right buttons.
Yeah. So are spouses. So. All right, but hey, thank you for being on the podcast. I appreciate you letting me do this with you.
No, not a problem.
Hey Jeremy, hey Tom. But one of the things I want to talk to you about is, how was your first year on? Well, let's give us a little background of yourself, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Like you said, I'm Rick Langenderfer. I'm from Maumee, Ohio. I'm blessed to have a wife that lets me do this profession, and as a professional angler, you need that spousal support because you're gone a lot. And I also have 9 kids, so you can call my spouse a saint because she takes care of the 9 kids while I'm gone. And right now I've been in the transportation industry for 17 years. I'm currently the on-site safety supervisor for CPC Logistics. You can see the background of a lovely hotel room right now because I'm on the road working. And that's kind of what made the NPFL great for this year, because it's a working man league to where I didn't have to leave my job to be able to fish full time and to live a dream. So it's kind of a godsend for a lot of the guys who wanted this dream but never had the opportunity to chase the dream because it's the time commitment that it is to be this successful, and to go through the opens or whatever. You have to. They call it the open purgatory, to where a lot of the Bass Open guys are in the opens for years before they get, before they make a top 10 in the total points and make the elites. And, so it's nice to, that the NPFL ownership thought my resume was good enough to give it a crack and go from there.
Excellent. Congratulations. Drew 6 says, hi, Rick.
What's up, Drew?
And he's taking Jeremy May says he's on the waiting list for the NPFL.
Jeremy, I hope you get that call, man. It's definitely it's a family that you need to be a part of.
Yeah, he's having a rough time. He's on the waiting list for the opens as well. So
I heard the opens is like 100 people deep right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. But Drew, if anyone wants to go smallmouth fishing on Lake Erie, Drew's got to get a hold of. He's taking a lot of people's money from up there, including mine.
Which side of Erie?
He's I think he's like the Akron area, but he's taking a lot of money on the west side of Erie. I don't know if he does much of the deep water stuff on Buffalo side. That's a Drew question, but I know he's made a pretty decent amount of money on the western side.
Okay, yeah, because he says all of it, by the way.
Oh, okay. he's shy. He's not too humble.
But yeah, I just want to ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
So I imagine you fished growing up. Who were some of your heroes growing up? I mean, they don't have to be fishing related. They can be, just baseball, basketball, whatever. Some of your heroes growing up.
Well, I'm gonna do this without getting emotional, because I get emotional on this question a lot. But my father was my only hero I ever had growing up. Okay. My father was a professional walleye guy for 12 years. I spent most of my childhood on Lake Erie fishing for walleye, chasing them around. Like Friday through Sunday, I was on the boat with my dad fishing, hundreds of hours running the boat. And he gave me the passion and the drive to be who I am. and he still is my biggest supporter. Even it's like walleye fishermen or bass fishermen are kind of like skiers and snowboarders. Like we both do the same thing, but you stay over there and I'll stay over here, kind of thing.
And you're always in each other's way.
Always in each other's way, right? Yep. So it's kind of nice to have him as my biggest supporter, because I can bounce ideas off of him, or I'll be the first one to admit that there's a couple times I've been on the water and I was in situations where I shouldn't have been in a bass boat, 5 to 7 foot waves on Lake Erie out fishing, and you get done and like you just mentally exhausted and just call him crying, because I've been a couple times where it was the most scared I've ever been on Lake Erie. Lake Erie is not a place to not know what you're doing, and it's a place you always have to pay attention. And the moment you don't pay attention to Lake Erie, it'll bite you.
Yeah. Well, Rick, it came in about 4 minutes past what I thought was going to come in this next question.
Okay.
And you and I have discussed it before.
Yep.
Hey, Rick, It's from George Evans here from
Yep.
Marshallville, Ohio. Likes the NPFL,
Yep.
but would like to know what happened to the championship. And I'll let you talk about that.
So, to be flat honest, it's a championship I wanted to make, but I was unfortunately not able to make it. But what happened at the championship was mostly a lack of preparation for, I call it total chaos. So what happened is we had an investor pull out, and an investor took all their money with them. And the NPFL had $1.5 million wrapped up in the production and the weigh trailer and basically everything it needed to have to run the league for the year. So when that happened around the Grand Lake event, it was left with a pipe's dream to be successful to run the championship. And in my opinion, the league did the right thing by not holding the event because of the fact there was no way to pay the anglers after that event. It's been resolved with the anglers. The anglers that made the championship are being reimbursed, are being compensated for that event. So as far as all the anglers, I think 98% of the anglers that were fishing last year are coming back. We are good with that. There's no hard feelings. It was a business decision. It was a business screw up. I said from the moment that happened, I said I'll say all 130 of us. There's only 105 anglers, but with the 30 support staff people that was helping us out every year, all year long. They're one big family. And so there was 130 of us who were kind of naive that we were thinking something like this wouldn't happen. Now, for the record, we weren't the first championship to ever get canceled. We just happened to be the first championship to get canceled, being so new. And so I guess if you want to say not welcomed is pretty much a very accurate word. We were like the quote unquote, there's no room for us. Well, I think through 6 events, we proved there's plenty of room for us. We have guys like John Sokup and Keith Carson, Brandon Perkins, who absolutely hammered them this year and made the NPFL who they are. Guys like me, I didn't have the greatest year in the world. I learned a lot. I'll be the first one to admit I jumped in feet first and not expecting what happened. I wasn't prepared mentally to fish 7 days straight. I learned a lot though, and season 2022 I'm looking forward to it. It's all I can do is grow from that as an angler, and in my opinion, it made me a better angler being part of this. So, and then I'll be that guy in the room to where everyone's going to have opinions about it. But if you haven't put your money on the line, I don't want to hear your opinion. It's to be flat out honest.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming forward and saying that. I know I contacted you probably a week or 2 after it was canceled, not even thinking about it,
Yep.
And I said, well, it's up to you if you want to tackle that topic. And you said, whatever they ask, I will answer. I'm an open book. So it really shows a lot for your character.
Yeah, I don't dodge questions. I'm an honest person, and I'm sure my phone will blow up here in a minute, but I'll deal with that in the other end.
Yep, and it shows, like I said, it shows a lot about your character.
Okay.
Excuse me. So, Jeremy May has a couple comments and questions.
Yep.
I don't know if you know, but he came to Oneida Lake for the first time last year.
Okay.
And he says, you talk about Lake Erie and how rough it can get. He goes, that's why I'm not coming past the Mason-Dixon line, because of them waves. and he's down in Virginia.
Oh yeah.
And he wants to know where my better half is. My better half is not feeling great, and she's also taking care of the boss of the house, which is our 4-year-old daughter.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I got a couple of those.
Mike Shaw found out the hard way about Lake Erie with Rick.
Yeah, he's my tournament doubles partner, and yeah, he knows my look to where I told him just to hold on. He knows what's about to happen.
Yeah, I've been, I'm in New York, and when you get a Conde, it's 2 and 3 footers most of the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's calm. We call that a walleye chop.
There you go. Yeah. Kyle Patrick says championship was a shame, but a great league. Looking forward to next year. Kyle,
I totally agree, man. It was I was actually planning on going down there to root those guys on, because those 25 guys absolutely earned it. It's one of those. It is what it is right now. It's we can kick a dead horse, but I know from talking to all the owners that the league is in a really good position right now. 22-on-2 is going to be hopefully better. I know there's not a championship going on. We're not gonna drag our sorrows across that. We know what we learned. We learned what we did wrong, and we're not going to do that again. It's one of the nicest thing about the NPFL is the ownership is so open with us. There's when they say transparency, they absolutely mean it. Like, all the anglers know exactly what's going on 100% of the time, every day of the week.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great thing to have. I mean, you look at when the takeover with the MLF and
and
they
FLW,
didn't even FLW, when they bought out halfway through the championship, they didn't explain to the anglers why there wasn't going to be one.
Yeah, they had no idea what was going on until 2 or 3 months later.
Yep. And Jeremy again says, do you see the NPFL going non-entry fee format?
This is just my opinion. I'm going to say absolutely not. It was proven. MLF tried it. It was proven. You had multi-millionaires in that league, and it failed. To be flat honest with you, if it was successful, they'd still be doing it. So if you can't get guys like Kevin Van Dam, Gary Klein, all those guys, if you can't get them to do no entry fees, then you're not going to get anybody else.
Yeah. Do you think it might hurt along the same format? Do you think it might hurt not having a weigh-in for that? Because there's
absolutely.
No real,
fans are 100% what that drive our sport. And if you don't have a weigh-in, then what are the fans going to be there for? It's like you can only do so many booths to have fans there without having a weigh-in. So I know our weigh-ins, NPFL weigh-ins, are a blast. We have. I'm not going to say we have thousands of fans like the Bass Elite does, but we had 500-600 fans at minimum per event per day. We actually had in Texarkana, our second event of the year, we had this big concert going on. Big concert. We had 1,500 to 2,000 fans there, and we had their game day live broadcasting from it. They roll out the red carpet for us. So that's what every weigh-in needs. If you're not doing that, then you're not having the support that you need from the fans.
Yeah. Okay. George Evans has a comment. It says, I want to see the league grow. I like how they do things. It's a shame what happened. I hope it all works out for the league, and he will still follow.
George, I appreciate it, man. We need guys like you that can follow us, and I got guys like me need you. I'm just a nobody from Ohio. So it's nice to have fans.
Yeah. All right. So, Jeremy says, I hit the wrong button. Do you think the NPFL is set up like the old PAA trail that didn't make it? I'm not sure what the trail was, but
I think that's a Professional Anglers Association.
Yep.
I'm going to be flat out honest with you. I'm not going to answer that one, mostly because I don't know. I didn't have any dealings with the PAA. I never fished any of the events. I know I saw the websites here and there for it. But I'm going to politely not answer that question because it's just because of ignorance. I don't know.
Yeah. And he also says, sorry for all the questions. He's a fan.
Bring it on, man. I like questions. Like I said, I got 9 kids, man. I'm used to questions.
So you're used to why and who.
Exactly. And how come and when.
Yeah. So most of us on here used to 1 and 2, possibly 3-day tournaments. So how do you mentally prepare going on the road for a week or 2 at a time?
Mentally prepare, I fail that completely. What I'm doing different this year is that I'm going to try to explore more water. For me, I had a couple events where I didn't catch fish during practice, and instead of just throwing it all out of the water, and I try to force things to happen. And when you travel this country, like I'm going to say I'm pretty dang good on fishing Lake Erie, but I need to learn to be more flexible when I go to these other lakes that I've never been to before. Just because what I like to do doesn't work doesn't mean they're not biting. It just means I'm doing something wrong. You need to be able to hit the reset button at like every day. This is what I learned the most. Like toward the end of the year, you need to be able to hit the reset button after day 1 of practice, and then after day 2 of practice, and after day 3, and after the first day of the event, second day of the event, and even going into the third day event, you need to be able to hit reset and almost start from scratch every day. You cannot dwell on what you did yesterday. You have to focus on what you're doing today. That's the hardest thing to do with these multi-day events. And it's the easiest thing to do is, the easiest thing to say is I'm on them. I can go catch them anywhere. And it's like, okay, yeah, you can go catch them anywhere. But what happens when that doesn't happen? What are you going to do when plan A sucks? Because you know what they say about plan B. If it was worth a crap, it'd be plan A.
Right.
So that's the hardest thing that I dealt with, was being able to hit that reset button and doing something completely different. Like actually for Pickwick example, I was so locked down at Pickwick, I literally took everything out of my boat other than what I needed, because it forced me to do that thing, because I didn't want to be scatterbrained and going with the what if during the event. And, after day 1, I was in 36 after day 1, and I only caught 3 fish for day 1. I had almost 11 pounds and 3 fish. Now, I lost a 6-pounder and I lost a 5-pounder and I lost a 4-pounder all at the boat, so this no net rule thing sucks. But
yeah, you're telling me.
Yeah. But other than that, it's like, like I said, I was in 36, and then the hardest thing for me to do that day was reset it for day 2. And I went and did exactly the thing I didn't want to do. And I reran my same water again, and I plummeted after day 2 because I caught 1 fish day 2.
Okay. And Jeremy says versatility in all aspects of fishing is key. I've learned a lot fishing the opens, especially he learned how a night it can be.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. That's the key. And it's like the one thing I didn't do last year. I didn't get a lot of time on the water just because of work, and then home time. I'm a big family guy, man. When I'm home, the last thing I want to do when I like, for instance, last year I got home from an event, I wouldn't touch my boat for 2 weeks, and I'd spend every moment I could with my kids and my wife, and I'd make sure I try to make up some of that time. Looking back on retrospect, I need to jump back in that boat and go fish again and keep that momentum going, or try to build momentum. Like I've been on a slump for like a year now, where things weren't clicking, and I just wasn't looking at the water the way it needed to be looked at. So in order to get out of fishing in the slump is to go fishing again. And so that's one thing I need to do, is just keep fishing and go from there.
Yeah. Okay. Now I have a couple questions. What is your favorite technique?
Oh man, I'm a 2K jig guy, man. I'll throw a jig all day long. I'll flip with the best of them.
Okay.
Unfortunately, sometimes that's my kryptonite. Is you can ask any guys that has fished with me. I'll have 3 or 4 jigs on the deck. Deposit swim jigs are the cats meow right now. They're the best on the market. Iowa's, in my opinion, best in the market. You know, their wedge design is making them go through the water. You can fish them all levels of the water because of that design. They're not rising. You know, they'll stay at that depth. So yeah, my favorite technique is throwing a jig all day long.
All right. What is your least favorite or the technique you need help with?
The biggest technique I need help with is probably deep diving crankbaits. I'm not a huge fan of them, mostly because I have ADD, ADHD, and I just after 10 casts, I want to switch. I want to do something else. So I need to be able to lock them in my hand and just deal with the grind and deal with the reeling. And I'm not guy. I don't constantly want to be moving. So you want to call that a kink in my armor as a professional? Yeah, that's definitely a kink because I know deep diving crankbaits are pretty much worldwide. I just don't like them that much.
Hey, I'm the same with you. I mean, I have a lake that's 30-something feet deep to the east, and I have one that's 600 feet deep to the west, or I should say 300 feet deep to the east,
Yeah.
600 to the west.
Yeah.
And I'll be darned if I'm going to throw a crankbait.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I probably have more crankbaits than Cabela's and Bass Pro together, but.
Oh, I got a ton of them. They're all brand new in the box right now.
Yeah, I take them out of the box though.
Yeah,
I probably shouldn't. It's probably better for resale if I don't.
No, yeah, they look good on my pegboard.
Yep, exactly. So, all right, Gary on YouTube says, you need to teach me how to pitch and flip, Rick.
So Gary is one of my biggest supporters. He's the real estate agent through DeSalle Realty. He jumped on board last year, and he has been my biggest supporter. He's actually jumping on board again for 2022. So he's one of my big title sponsors. And Gary, I will gladly take you fishing anytime you want, man. I know this year we didn't get to go out, but with schedule and then COVID and all that good stuff, it was hard to make time to get out and go somewhere. But we did a fundraiser for I believe it was Skeeter Fowler, who passed away from COVID. He's one of our anglers. We lost Skeeter Fowler and Donnie O'Neill this year. We did a fundraiser for the family, and I donated a smallmouth trip on Lake Erie, and Gary actually bid on that one just to give them money, knowing very well that him and I can go fishing anytime we want. He bid on it and won the auction to give Skeeter Fowler's family some money. But Gary's truly indebted in my heart, and we will definitely go anytime he wants.
Yeah. You actually lost a couple. I'll call them teammates because that's what it sounds like. Family members or whatever.
Family members. Yep.
Due to COVID this year. And
we had both those guys after the Wisconsin event. Neither one of them made it home from the Wisconsin event.
Yeah. So it's sad.
Yeah.
I hate to go on that, but what do you how would you define success for this year for you?
Well, success this year is going to be making a check. Last year, 2021, my success rate was just being seen, getting out there in the community, getting my name out across the board, which I feel like I did a pretty good job of that one. My off the water was really, really good. But this year I need to really focus on my on the water. My manager / accountant / wife pretty much told me that. So this year it's we're coming. We got Cumberland as first event, and that's a lake I've never been to, but I know it fits pretty well to what I like to do. And then we got Hartwell was another one. It's one of those another deep water points. And then we have Saginaw Bay and Lake Erie, Kissimmee, Florida, and so I'm looking forward to Wasp Bar. Wasp Bar is my one that I'm not too familiar with, so I'll be hopefully chopping on some of my roommates that I travel with because I know those guys have been there with college series. They've been to that lake, so I'll be banking on their information just to get a start to where to go on Wasp Bar. But like I said, we're coming to Lake Erie. We're coming to my backyard. The ramp's 45 minutes from my house. And then Saginaw Bay is an hour and 45 minutes from my house. So I've been to both of those. So I'm really comfortable in that deep water stuff.
Now this next comment, I think you might know this person.
Yeah. Hi, babe. Yeah, she's the saint. She's the thing that keeps this Team Langenderfer thing rolling right there. She's my manager for a reason because she's the one that tells me no a lot. And
Yeah.
so she's my heart and soul. She's the one that makes this dream work.
All right, and Corey Knoll says, Rick, what's up, man?
There's Corey, man. Corey was he's another NPFL angler last year. I don't believe he's coming back this year. I don't know if that's 100% confirmed. I know last year he said he wasn't coming back. I don't know if he confirmed that year or not. But so if anyone's followed the NPFL and paid attention to the Grand Lake event, Corey Knoll is the guy that we went to. I'll back up a little bit. We went to a second chance animal rescue, dog rescue for Grand Lake, Oklahoma. It's the only rescue in the area that's a no-kill shelter. We had 7 or 8 anglers show up and do a media day there on a Wednesday. And we got to walk around dogs and hang out with the dogs, play with the dogs, and Corey adopted a dog that day from there. He took a dog.
Only one?
Yeah, only one. That's all his boat can hold is added weight capacity.
Okay.
Corey carries a lot of tackle, so he's got to pay attention to that weight.
Yeah, exactly.
But he adopted this dog, and this dog is like, I got emotional that day when he brought it across stage because that dog went from being in a kennel for, I think it was 3 months. Corey had to confirm that one. I think he was in that place for 3 months. He went from being in there to on a professional's boat and through a professional weigh-in the next day. And he absolutely owned it. His name's Bro. And that dog absolutely owned it. Like he was there his entire life. This is all he was meant to do, was be on this boat. And I know there's multiple photos going across this country about Corey, and he caught a 4-pounder, and Bro was right there by his side watching it and paying attention to it. So, I'm so proud of Corey. That was something that didn't have to do, absolutely didn't have to do. And he found it in his heart that he found his soulmate in a 4-legged animal that, he brought home from Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's stories like that really keep me fishing,
Yeah. The stories like that, it's funny that the stories like that, it happened all through our league. Every event you can think of something that just made us so special that not many other tours would have done.
Yeah, and it's not the fishing aspect of it; it's
Correct.
the humanity aspect of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's being a human. Exactly. Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
But excuse me. If sorry about that. How did you get started into tournament fishing?
I basically got bored. I was a college golfer. I golfed in college. It paid for my education, and then I went and screwed around, did other stuff. I played in some professional golf events, and then I realized I wasn't all that great after college. And then I had this opportunity to fish a club event, and I went out and won that club event. Paid like $300 or whatever. And I was like, well, that was kind of fun, It's like it was actually the first time I ever bass fished was that club event. I just liked the competition, I'm that guy that I'll throw $50 in a pot and go do anything. I don't care, I'll figure it out. And then I found out you can do this like every weekend. You can you can fish small derbies and stuff like that. And I went and co-anchored a BFL there on Grand Lake St. Mary's in Ohio. If you ever fish pea green water, that's the place to go. That's got your name all over it because the whole lake's pea green. I went out there and absolutely got my butt kicked because I had a boater, like you and I talked about earlier, had no idea what he was doing, and got my butt kicked. And I told myself I'm not doing that again. I went home, and like a month later I bought a boat, and like 2 months later I entered my first tournament as a boater. Just went and did it, and that's kind of how my whole career's been. I just threw my money in the hat and figure it out as I go. I'm the guy. I rarely had time to practice, but I love the competition. I pride myself on being a very humble loser because I'm really good at it. But I also am very, very humble when I do win. I've won a couple events, and it's nice to have the people come up and congratulate me at the end because they know what I've been through, what I'm willing to do for certain tours or for certain series. I'm willing to help out. I do all that kind of stuff behind the scenes, whatever I can do to help. And I feel it's the same way with this NPFL stuff, to where I'm willing to help if they need me to help. I'll do any media if they need it done. We have a bunch of anglers. I wasn't one of them because I was always one of the first ones or last ones in, whatever. But we have a bunch of anglers who jump in the trucks for the drive-through weigh-in. They jump in the trucks and drive the anglers across. Their fellow competitors, they drive across. So that's something I pride myself in. It's just the off the water stuff, mostly because I'm really good at losing.
So, what is your favorite part about being a professional angler?
Yeah, my favorite part of it is I've dreamed about it since I was 8 years old. It's literally like I can sit back and watch and visualize myself open those Bass Pro Shop catalogs back in the 80s and looking at my brother and looking at, I'm gonna own that boat. And this, granted, my dad had a big 25-foot sportsman walleye boat, completely walleyed out, and I'd look at my brother and say, I'm gonna buy that boat, and it'd be like a Ranger or a Nitro back then, or those kind of the tracker boats, the aluminum trackers and stuff like that. I'm gonna buy that boat, and it was a bass boat. And it was one of those things because it was more affordable, to be honest with you. Like back then it was $6,000, $7,000. And I just pride myself as I'm just a fisherman, man. It's like I guess you can say I don't think of myself as a professional. I don't carry myself as a professional. I haven't changed. I'm Rick Langenderfer from Maumee, Ohio. That's never going to change. I am who I am. The fact that I have to sign autographs is pretty cool, but I'm still going to talk to you the same way I am. I'm a truck driver, so I got a trucker's mouth, so I slip one here and there. If you've been at the bar with me at an event, that I slip a lot. But I am who I am. It's and I'm going to pride myself. At the end of my career, if you want to call this a career, at the end of it, I just want to know I did it the right way, and I could care less how many wins there are. I could care less what my career win total is.
Oh, excellent. What is your favorite body of water to fish?
Other than Lake Erie, or could we count Lake Erie?
Well, let's go other, because Lake Erie is a given. I mean, how can you not love Erie?
Yeah, I know. I love it so much. So my new favorite body of water to fish is Wright Patman in Texarkana, Texas. That place was so much fun. I pray that they don't apparently they don't bass fish that lake a lot, because every time you set the hook, they were ticked off, and I thought smallmouth fought hard up here. Those largemouth down there, it was a whole different breed. And oh my goodness, they had such teeth. Every time you lipped one, you could only catch 5 or 6 bass without having not to touch them, because your thumbs would be tore up after that. So the guys who won that event, like Keith Carson won that event, he was saying he was catching 30 bass. I don't know how he caught 90 fish for the tournament, because there's no way I could have touched 90 of them. I don't think I only caught 12 or 13 for the entire event. And my hands were tore up, so I don't know what his hands looked like after 90 of them.
Yeah. Well, you need to talk to the people that set the schedule and come over to New York, man.
I'm sure that's on the agenda. I'm sure it's third year we're coming. I'm positive 30. I'm actually shocked that we didn't come to St. Lawrence, but I know I'm pretty positive St. Lawrence and Saginaw Bay were like in competition for that day, and it basically came down to what fit better. And I know I'm gonna assume we didn't go to St. Lawrence because it's getting absolutely hammered, because it's probably the best fishery in the country right now. And we just didn't. We're the NPFL has prided themselves on, we don't follow what everyone else does. We don't chase the spawn. We go. They try to make us go earn it. They don't want to hand us a check. They want us to go earn it. So the fact that we're going to Saginaw Bay instead of the St. Lawrence, or I'm assuming St. Lawrence, is probably because the Saginaw Bay hasn't got much traffic.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty of lakes around here. There's plenty of fisheries.
I'm sure we'll be there in 2023. I'll probably go there, and we'll probably go west, and that's kind of that's what it was set up to be when we signed the contracts last year, is that we would go west. So I'm assuming we'll go west in New York next year.
Nice. Well, that would be great. If I hope to see you guys come over here. But I understand that you don't want to beat all the waters up, which I commend you for that. And I wouldn't worry too much about Thousand Islands getting beat. I mean, it's 100 miles of water.
Yeah,
Plus you got the lake, so you got
we got plenty.
quite a
We
bit
got
of
plenty of
water.
room.
Yeah, especially if Canada's open.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. I'm praying Canada's open. I hope they don't reclose the border. You know, if they
oh,
reclose it, then like even for Lake Erie, like Lake Erie has been pounded recently, but those fish haven't been touched in 2 years almost. You know,
yeah.
so
And they said that about up here too. And
yeah.
we forget the Canadians will have 125, 250 boat tournaments.
Yeah.
Up here.
Yeah, those guys, a bunch of Canadians up here, they fish for walleye though. They don't do a whole lot of bassing. Their walleye must be over here.
Yeah, they do a lot of bassing over here. So
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
we'll see if they'll put a no bass fishing sign up or something.
There you go. There you go.
But no, if you're ever over here, look me up, man. We'll get together.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely do that. I'm
Yeah.
always looking for free worms. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's the expensive part. Is like
Absolutely.
I mean, you got your. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
People think sometimes you just go show up and fish. Well, you're there for a week.
Yeah.
You have to eat. You have to.
Yeah.
It's not like the boat just fills up with gas.
Oh no, and like this year was probably the worst for it. You know, we were. So I was fortunate enough to travel with three other gentlemen, David Hoheisel, Cameron Wilt, and Craig Burwell. I traveled with them all year long, and we were able to save money on the housing, but it was still $300, $200 to $300 per person per week.
Yeah.
And take that times that by 6 events, that's $1,200 to $1,500.
Yep.
And then you got to add in food, and we did a pretty good job of grocery shopping. But still, grocery shopping for 4 grown men, it's still $250 to $300 for the week in groceries. And we get bored. You need a beer, you need some camaraderie, so you go out and you go eat. There's another $100 a day, and then gas. Like I said, I live in Maumee, Ohio, and the closest event was Lake Winnebago up in Wisconsin. That was still 7 hours away. And then we got events in the Harris Chain in Florida, Texarkana, which is 16 hours. Grand Lake, Oklahoma was 12 hours. So I was spending. I drive a Ford F-150, nothing fancy, nothing basic, nothing super modded up.
And it got you through?
It got me through, man. Ford, knock on Ford. Pound sign 4 trucks. But that's an inside joke, by the way. Yeah. But it was still, probably $400 to $500 a week in gas just for the truck.
Yeah.
And then the boat, I put $100 in the Nitro Z20, and I barely, if I was on empty, I wouldn't even get half a tank for $100. So you kind of, during practice, you had to kind of pay attention to what fuel you're kind of burning, especially when you're like 90th in the AOY points like I was. You can't just go out there and free wheel it and go burn money, because it's like, man, you're struggling to make a check, so let's not go burn it if you don't have it. But that's another thing. Other than Gary, I was self-funded all year long, so I'll honestly tell you guys, I was $47,000 in the hole at the end of the year. So it's not a fun place to be, but it's a place that I knew that if I didn't catch them, I was going to end up, and that's what happened. I didn't catch them. So, but it's a lot of money, man. That's why we thrive on guys like Gary Diffendaler that see the passion, see the drive, and see what I can do for him. And that's what a lot of people don't see. Like, we got our analytics back from the NPFL, and we had 11 million total views from the NPFL. Just on a basic wrap truck and rack boat traveling across country, I had 16 million impressionable views on just the truck. So you take a percentage of that, and that's a potential 160,000 people that you can do business with. Yeah. And that's something that not a lot of people see. They see an angler. It's like, why would I throw money into an angler? Why would I want to back this angler? And it's like, it's not because of what I can do on the water. It's what I can do for you off the water. And like guys like Gary, he sees that. Luckily Gary's a fisherman, so he understands it. Yeah. But the non-fishing aspect of the world is missing this completely marketable opportunity that they don't realize is there. And it's like the 16 million people, and you're just clueless on that they're even there.
And you like with me today, I just went and talked to a potential a partner. I do not like the word sponsor. I really don't. I
No.
prefer partners.
Yep.
Because when like today, I went and I sat and talked to him about a contract, and we didn't talk about what I was getting.
Right.
We talked about, here's what I'm going to do for you. Here's
Absolutely.
what I propose to you.
Yep.
And they asked good questions. Where's my logo? Where is this? Where is that? I said, okay, let's start from line A and go all the way to the bottom.
Yep.
And you can write down what you want. So that way there's no misconstruing anything, and go from there.
Right. Yep.
So
that's what I always tell them. I tell them, it's like, obviously, every pro angler has different criteria, have different price levels.
Yep.
My biggest response to them is, how much do you want to be seen? And that's like, I'll tell them 16 million. Do you want 16 million views, or do you want 5 million views? Because your logo is going to be the difference of those views.
Yes.
So, and that's why I break it down to them. And if you break it down into views, money's no problem.
Yeah. I mean, we all have budgets, and they have budgets as well, but
it's easier to allocate when you say 16 million views. Hey, give me $5,000 for 16 million views. No problem.
Rick, I can get you 17 million. Give me $8,000.
Deal. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we got this on YouTube. We got it on Facebook.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll take that deal any time of the week.
But no, Tom Skidmore says travel is the worst. I camp most of the time. Fuel sucks. And when I travel, I'm a mechanic. I can fix anything to a point on the road.
That dude, amen. You can preach that to the people in the back. People think that we're living the dream. Drew Six he's a really good friend of mine, and he was a mobile mechanic at every event. This guy, I give my hats off to him, to where if I could pay for his events, I would pay for his events, because he would literally end his day of practice, go to his camper, and then when he gets to his camper, there's 2 or 3 boats sitting at his camper waiting for him to work on them. He is like a master mechanic of all. If it's got a motor, he can figure it out. If it's got some sort of a structure, he could figure it out. He's really good with everything. But this guy would literally take time out of his day, out of his sleep schedule, because we fish sun up to sundown, and he would fish. He'd be working on boats 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and then wake up the next morning at 4 o'clock and go again.
Your boss, your backbone, your main supporter says the truck gets noticed all the time.
Absolutely. My in-laws were just in town for Thanksgiving, and so I used my company car. They drove my truck around while they were in town, and I think my wife got cornered at Tim Hortons, and one thought they were me, and then my father-in-law got cornered at the Eagles Club, thinking they were me, and it kind of worked out for my father-in-law, though. He got free beer out of it, so he can't complain too much.
Hey, can I borrow your truck?
Yeah, exactly. Trucks get noticed, man. It's like, if you do them right, they get noticed.
Yeah. And Rob Welsh, a longtime listener and supporter, says, what is the practice period like before the NPFL tournaments?
So my practice is a whole lot of we have off limits. It's 20 or 21 days. That's kind of actually just changed recently. I think it's 20 days now, because it falls, it'll push it to the Sunday, 3 weeks Sunday prior. So I think it's 20 days. But prior to that, I'm doing is, if I can get to the water, I'm going to the water. I'm going to go, you can never duplicate on the water practice. You can watch all the videos you want. You will never learn more than being on that water. But during that 20-day off limit, I'm watching videos. I'm pulling every current video up you can. I'm even pulling up photos with you guys are trying to black out the background. Like, you can black them out all you want. I'm still looking at what I want to see. So unless you can block your entire self out and just hold the fish up, I'm still learning from watching you catch them. So that's what I'm doing for those 20 days. I'm just every day. You can ask my wife. I'll watch YouTube videos for 7 hours a day. I'm a YouTube junkie. If it's on the internet, I'll find it. But yeah, prior to the off limits, I'm on the water as much as I can. So like this
Now,
year, I think this year our farthest one, other than Kissimmee, Florida, our farthest is Hartwell, which is 10 and a half hours, 11 hours from me. So I'll probably be in Hartwell twice. I'll probably be on Lake Cumberland twice before we get to the event.
All right. What do you consider the most difficult part about being a tournament angler?
The food. But no, in all, I'll say the most difficult aspect of being a tournament angler is the confidence. Because when you get to day one of blast off and they call your boat number, everything you just did for the past whatever amount of days, if you want to just call the 3 days of practice, whatever you just did from there is going to be shown in front of thousands and possibly millions of people. So it's the confidence to go out and do it. It's just the ones. I'm a guy. I don't care about other people's opinions. I'm pretty good at showing that. I don't care what you think. I'm gonna go do what I know how to do, and if it works, cool. If it doesn't, I'll go do it again tomorrow. I'm not hard headed enough to realize that I'm a KVD or whatever. I'm not a guy that a million people are looking up to. I'm just Rick Langenderfer. So for me, the hardest part about tournaments is just having the confidence just to do it. It's like I always say to people, like, I wish I can tournament fish. I wish I can just do it, man. It's $100, like BFL co-anglers, what, $100 now? Did they go up? I don't know if they went up this year.
I have no clue. But you can go be a club tournament fisherman.
Go be a club tournament fisherman for $25.
Yep.
If you want to fish the next level, go to the BFLs for $100. Just throw your name in that. Just throw your money in. It's $100. You're going. If you like it, cool. You got something to do. If you don't like it, it's $100.
Yeah.
And I that's my confidence. I think I can beat anybody any day of the week. I'll throw my money in the hat because I think I can beat you today. And until we weigh in. Like, we're all tied when we blast off. We're all at 0. We're all tied for first. So I'm gonna take my chances that I'll be first when I come back.
Yeah. So looking at your name, saying it, you need a bait app named after you, the Langenderfer.
Man, my nickname in high school was Derf. So we maybe come up with something with the Derf.
It sounds like a soft plastic, the Derf.
Yeah. Actually, my older friends, they call me Fred because it's Derf backwards.
Yep.
They allow them to call me Fred.
Oh,
so
man.
yeah, I'm more than willing. If anyone wants to make a bait, I'm more than willing to throw my name on it.
Where do you not want to fish? Is there a body of water you don't care to go back to? I know I have a couple.
Well, I got a couple I don't want to go back to from the season, but it wasn't because the lake was terrible. It was because I sucked.
Okay.
I'm cool with fishing anywhere. I'm good. The one lake I struggled the most was Winnebago. My buddies give me a hard time because I was on pace of becoming the first professional ever to do something, and it wasn't a record I was looking forward to having. But I was on pace to be the first professional angler to blank 3 days in a row. I blanked the first 2 days of the event on Lake Winnebago because I was forcing the smallmouth, which I'm really comfortable fishing with them. And it wasn't until probably thinking about it after day 2 when I started realizing that, hey, these smallmouth are not, they call Winnebago the 5th Great Lake or whatever, the 6th, whatever it is, the 5th Great Lake, 5th, 6th Great Lake. Anyways, so in my mind, I was like, well, cool. These smallmouth will be just like Lake Erie smallmouth. They'll set up on this type of structure, this kind of wind direction. And what I knew what the biggest problem was, is that when we got to Winnebago, we had like 7 or 8 days of the exact same weather. And I know from Lake Erie experience, when you have that, those fish are tough and finicky. Well, I found fish. I found plenty of smallmouth. I literally caught 300 fish that week. I just never caught anything over 14 inches. And so my stubbornness and like I said, my lack of versatility, I forced those smallmouth on Lake Winnebago. And now that I know what I know, that lake is not weather or not condition driven, it is weather driven. So when the weather blew up, the smallmouth blew up and the largemouth kind of settled back down. So that's why you notice like Keith Carson only caught 4 the last day, is because that weather came in and the fish kind of went the opposite directions.
Okay.
And that's why Brandon Perkins actually wrecked him. He wrecked a big 5-pound. I think he hit 17 pounds of smallmouth that day. But I went frogging the 3rd day, because mostly I was just trying to stay out of the way, and I told myself I'm going to do something different. And I had 11 pounds in about 35 minutes, and like I'm not gonna lie, that 5th one I was cussing myself out, man. I was like, "You're a freaking idiot for not doing this all week." I never threw a frog all week long, and all the conditions were there to throw a frog, and I just blew right by him to go find deep ledges. But
well, you ever come to St. Lawrence, you can keep your frog out, because smallmouth will bite that up here.
See, don't do that. I'm not a big frog person.
Okay.
Trust me, it took me a lot to tie that frog on, but it was pretty much the only bait I haven't thrown that day.
Yeah, you really only need 1, maybe 2 or 3 rods.
Yeah. I'm good with that. That makes it easier on me. I'm a guy that carries 30 rods in his boat.
Yeah, maybe 4 drop shot rods, Carolina rig, a jig rod.
Yep. I got a couple of those. Yeah.
And you might want to throw a spinnerbait once in a while, or a top water, but
I got you. Okay, I'm with you. I'll take notes. I like free notes.
Yep. And I know there's no off limits for that, because you're not fishing it, so I can say what I want.
Yeah, I can go all the way along there.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about Erie.
That's the other nice thing about the NPFL, is that we have like a no information rule. So our no information rule started roughly 2 months ago, when the anglers were told the schedule. And so we can't solicit it. We can't pay for it. We can't do anything information. We can't even hear you talk about it. And that's something I totally respect, that we should be, as a professional angler, you should be able to go find your own fish, not somebody else's.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
But I don't know if you can see it, but that's a cookie.
I like that. The sugar cookie?
Yep.
No, all right. I'm good with that. My wife can vouch for that one.
That's my favorite cookie right there. My favorite homemade cookie.
I'm with that.
My wife's not feeling well, and she's actually taking care of our baby. So
Gotcha.
one of her questions she usually asks is, "What is your favorite homemade cookie?"
Oh, mine's an oatmeal raisin. There's no questions asked.
Dude, really?
Yeah, I love oatmeal raisin cookies.
It seems like everybody I talk to is oatmeal or oatmeal raisin or something.
Oh, I love them. The best cookie on the planet by far is the Subway oatmeal raisin cookie.
All right, well, this concludes this portion of the podcast. So.
Yeah, as a trucker, I got 2 million miles under my belt as a truck driver, and I've been to just about every Subway in the country, and I've had just about every cookie they've ever made.
All right. So, no, we're all good there, but
yeah.
No, like I said before, if you ever get over in this neck of the woods, definitely look me up, and we'll definitely do some fishing.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm gonna end this because we're getting close to an hour.
Okay.
Let you get some sleep. I know you got work to do. And
sleep's overrated.
You're right. So I'm gonna take you off screen for a minute, and I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay.
All right, buddy. Yep.
All right. Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, guys.
All right, everybody. That was Rick Langenderfer from Ohio. I didn't realize he was a northern boy. I thought he was a southerner at first. I didn't do much research into the show, as you can tell. But Tom, I disagree with you there as far as the peanut butter chocolate chip, but that's all right. We all have our favorites, and just like water and fish. So thanks everybody for showing up and asking questions, and everybody be safe. When you're out there fishing, make sure you have your life vests. Take a kid fishing if you get a chance. Always wear your sunscreen, because you never know. Me with my thinning hair, my light hair, and my Irish-looking skin needs it. So everybody take care. And next week's podcast, we're going to be talking to myself, which I do a lot of on here, and talking about my lineup of partners for 2022 as of then. So everybody take care. Have a great week, and see you then.